Welcome back, everybody. You already know that grill stays hot cause we're back for more Toriko Unveiled. Today, I decided to start a new list of videos for Toriko. Today, we start the series on how powerful are the gods of Toriko, the 8 kings. First, what is a god? In monotheistic and certain other religions, a god is a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity or even supreme being. In modern mythology, we have Yorminder, the world serpent, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent from Aztec lore, or things like the Kraken and so on and so forth. Long in mankind's history, there are records of worship, praise, and sacrifice to these beings, making them truly what we would call gods. And with this series of videos, the 8 creatures we have are in no short true gods. First off, let's talk about scale before anything. All of the 8 kings, exception of a couple, are kaiju-sized creatures. To even remotely not be in constant states of war, the Toriko planet automatically has to be 70% larger than our own. These creatures that make Godzilla, Kong, or Ghidorah look like chihuahuas are very much so literal forces of nature. Their very presence in an area and the mood they were in at the time can influence an environment's entire future, giving it fertile land or barren disaster. When creatures of this scale meet, a massive weather phenomenon occurs known as the Emperor Ring. These cloud formations span continents in the worst cases, and in some cases can nearly become planetary. Each of the 8 kings not only possess strength beyond literal comprehension, but access to unique traits of their biology, many being capable of warping reality, destroying minds, and even the planet. For our first 8 king, I chose to begin with my favorite and the master of the second largest continent in the Gourmet World, Area 7. Enter the Monkey King Bambina. Area 7 is home to Bambina and the subjects of his kingdom, an innumerable species of intelligent, fantastical, and powerful primates. Over time, the strongest of these apes subjugated the rest of the population under a merciless caste system designed to funnel Area 7's food to themselves. Despite the wealth of the resources on the continent, outside of Area 4, Area 7 has the greatest landmass on the Toriko Earth, boasting an incredible 840 million square kilometers. Yep, 840 million square kilometers. That's 340,325,813 miles, which, I don't know, maybe they added a 0, maybe they accounted for the underground and upper levels. I don't know, the continent's massive. Within Area 7, Bambina reigns supreme. Mentioned in the manga, his ancestors have for years lived and ruled the Monkey Kingdom, which itself has been home to other species like humans or Nitro. The area also contains some of the world's largest wildlife. Nearly all flora and fauna are absolutely titanic in size, such that humans seem like ants in comparison. The continent's trees are so large they pierce the clouds above, and even relatively small insects of Area 7 are even larger than the den shark, which had a body length of 2 kilometers. Area 7 is known as the Mountain Continent because of it having over 70% of its land area consist of mountain range. The area is politically separated into quadrants, each ruled by one of the 4 mighty Enbu masters that all rank at the top of the caste system, with 100G Mountain at the very center where Bambina lived. Over time, the strongest of these primates subjugated the rest of the population under a merciless caste system designed once again to fuel all food and resources to themselves. The primates of Area 7 tend to have varied levels of intelligence, with some being no different than wild animals, while others are smart enough to be able to craft simple items such as weapons, tools, cigars, clothes, and musical instruments. I don't know, maybe they buy them off of someone, and even hold festivals and follow the social system established by the monkey, which is Inbu. Inbu, also known as monkey dance, is a form of martial arts discipline, as well as a form of ranking system that is unique to the inhabitants of Area 7. Because of Area 7's unusual laws regarding indiscriminate predation, the ways of Inbu allow the primate inhabitants of Area 7 to become disciplined, thereby allowing them to become stronger as they progress through the ranks of Inbu. Like modern day martial artists, the ways of Inbus have a pyramid chain, which shows the rankings of each group as how many there are, with newcomers having the lowest ranking and usually consisting of the largest group, with the instructors having the highest ranking with the smallest group. consisting in this case of only 4. The monkey King Bambina stands as an individual above this pyramid as the master of Enbu. The monkey art known as Enbu during ancient times was not seen as a form of combat, but as a beautiful dancing performance, which is performed by the monkey king and those who can match the king's power, aka his lover. It's really a dance of play. The murals depicted within the ancient ruins of Area 7 show that the origin of Enbu's alias, the monkey dance, was due to the fact that Enbu itself was a dance with a set of forms that are performed in order to appease the monkey king. The dance consists of up to 1,000 different forms, which are all linked to an inevitable finale. With the Monkey King being the most powerful being in all of Area 7, it can perform the 1,000 form monkey dance within 10 seconds. From start to finish, though eventually, Inbu deviated from its original purpose and became a martial arts style as opposed to a dance. Now, with explanations and expos out of the way, let's talk about the applications and usages of Enbu. Enbu, in my opinion, is eerily similar to Ultra Instinct. Couple differences. Off the bat, Enbu's way more explained because Dragon Ball Z never actually explains his power scaling, but anyway, Enbu uses power from every single cell within the body, with up to nearly 60 trillion cells in one's body working in unison in order to launch attacks and move and defend and even aid bodily functions. Each cell's individual energy combines to perform a single action, with immense amounts of energies being the release output. The way of Enbu is no simple matter, as it is based around working with the body as a whole. This unison of the body must be performed on a cellular level, meaning that in order to master Enbu, every single cell within an individual's body must cooperate together and put aside the differing emotions and thoughts and urges which separate them from each other. Fear, doubt, hate, anger, hunger, joy, it doesn't matter. To utilize Enbu, you must be perfectly in unison to execute actions. One of the biggest emotions that a single individual will feel, that all parts of the body will feel, is fear. And going further on that, the fear of death itself. Because death itself means that all cells in the body will not survive, as bodies eventually rot. All cells within the body will feel a unified fear of death itself. Therefore, every single cell in the body will cooperate as they all have one single thought in their minds: survival. It is said that every creature at the brink of death will eventually feel unison with every single cell in their bodies, as the body will attempt to survive. This means that if all cells work together, the chances of surviving can increase, and with Enbu itself, one can practice and even master the unison of cells so they can work together with any task performed. An example of the strict hierarchy of Enbu is when Toriko and the group made landfall in Area 7 and were attacked by a large group of monkeys. In this very first encounter against these monkeys, we see that not only can they resist the death sound, they possess high regenerative speeds, and one even managed to redirect Toriko's Kuji punch. This group of monkeys actually had the 4 kings pressed until the leader of the area appeared and every single monkey bowed to their master. Frieza would probably like this. Later on, we see this group of monkeys dead and planted headfirst into the ground in an act of mass suicide. Again, yeah, Frieza would probably love this. They did so because when they attacked the group of gourmet hunters, this group of novice level primates broke the rule of the continent: no indiscriminate predation. You are not allowed to feed without permission. Here's where I mentioned in the Coco video that without Coco's fast thinking, half the group would have been killed and Bambina would have simply toyed with them, and the anime would have been named Sunny Not Toriko. This crushing defeat forces the Heavenly Kings to retreat and finally begin the process of learning Enbu. The truth behind their defeat is that they were like kittens trying to have a fun, playful fight with a full-grown tiger. To practice Enbu, it may seem simple at first: juggle any number of BB pill bugs. However, the pill bug is an organism that at any moment can change its state of being or randomly exude any other property. This can go from light as air to incredibly heavy, moving at impossible speed, secreting poison that melts the hand touching it in 0.1 seconds, ethereal. This takes a body in unison to even begin to process. The differing properties of the pill bug, which change instantly, mean that an individual must concentrate in full unison with every cell in their body in order to be able to juggle the pill bugs completely, and as the Enbu rank raises, the user can juggle more and more pill bugs. Though Zebra got to the level he could just eat them, which is very Zebra-like of him. Now, while I can delve more into the mechanics, I feel it's time we moved on. Enbu also further raises one's resistance to any force, as all of the cells work together in order to perform a single action against any kind of force. An example of resistance is if the cells work against one another when fighting the force of gravity, the body will feel heavy. But if every cell forms a unified action of warding it off, the power of gravity simply seeps through the body, making the body lighter even against high gravity. But more so, Enbu allows its user to flow around damage similar to knocking Master Jiro's knocking. Now keep all I've said in mind, because we're about to get crazy. Earlier I mentioned one crucial thing. Enbu was not created as a battle art. It was a dance of love and friendship between the Monkey King species. Bambina taught other monkeys Enbu in hopes of that someone could eventually become his playmate. While on a first look at an unimpressive 150 centimeters or 4'11", the Monkey King is the smallest of the 8 kings, though he's still weighing in at 25 tons. The Monkey King is perhaps the most active of the 8 kings, and we have a lot more data to represent him from the series. Bambina is incredibly childlike, shown with his playing of traditional games with 4 kings, or even when he casually cuts down and tosses 15-meter-long mountains across the oceans at Mach 1 speed. To add perspective, Bambina cuts down and chunks mountains roughly the size of Mount Rushmore and throws them so hard they travel the planet and turn into weathered pebbles from the sheer friction of hitting the water. Living on top of 100G Mountain, a mountain with 100 times gravity that of the natural Toriko Earth, which would be roughly 2 times than our own, so 2 times 100, Bambina is capable of jumping from here and traveling 50 kilometers in a second to outer reaches of space. Bambina casually likes to take naps amongst the stars, and crashes down to Earth completely unharmed. These feats by themselves are godlike. Roughly estimating where Bambina was when he jumped, I'd say he likes to take naps in the planet's thermosphere, a part of the atmosphere reported to have temperatures as high as 1727 degrees Celsius, placing his casual heat resistance beyond the level of the entire periodic table. Bambina crashes a height about 50 miles above sea level and shows no damage. This, just like skipping mountains, is a part of his day-to-day life. Unlike the other 8 kings with powers like black holes, dimensional lasers, time control, soul sniffing, and casual weather control, Bambina is simply an overall fucking unit, possibly using the martial arts his species has created as a mating ritual, or possibly the fact that he just commands all 60 trillion cells in his body to move in harmony. But either way, the results are attacks that can shatter continents and scar planets. During the 4 Kings battle, Bambina could move faster than 0.1 seconds. All of his speed, even in this situation, all of his strength, all of his durability was not maxed. Bambina wears a sort of furry membrane over his body, like restrictive bandages. When released, the Monkey King's true power is brought to the front. In his unsealed form, the Monkey King will gradually grow larger and larger, and his nuts will get bigger, even eventually towering over the size of Zebra and possibly having larger nuts than Zebra, but we'll talk about that later. He also reveals that his true color is solid white. After releasing, the Monkey King uses his tail and launches an attack so dangerous all of the 4 Kings' appetite demons emerge in self-defense. This simple tail slash from Bambina caused a slash effect that reached far from 100G Mountain into space and cut a satellite and asteroid. Again, casually, notice the Monkey King did not touch the planet, so I guess the clause of don't shit where you eat still stands. Most satellites sit around 2,000 kilometers or roughly 1,200 miles outside of Earth. So yes, Bambina's attacks have a 1,000-mile plus range. During his round 2 with the Heavenly King, they managed to perfectly perform the monkey dance, which I pray we will one day get to see animated. Everything is going well until the final step in the Monkey King's rage unleashes. Here, he tanks the 4 Kings' strongest attacks. He can't be eaten by Sunny Satan hair, and even bites it. Keep in mind this hair was stated to be able to devour planets and even solar systems, and resist Coco's devil poison, which can, dope planets, and takes Toriko's jet demon fork, which breaks out into space later on in the manga. The Monkey King's ancestors were said to have been able to, like I said earlier, strike a continent and shatter it. That would take an impact of 1.33 to 4.434 petatons of energy. The celestial impact that killed the dinosaurs is speculated at 1.2 petatons. This is further backed by scans when the Monkey King sealed fought a fragment of Neo, and it states that Bambina struck the fragment of Neo with blows that hit like meteors. the Monkey King's blows can quite literally cause mass extinctions. His defense capabilities are on the same level, if not higher, as he took blows from an awakened Akashi/Neo, and his speed is night faster than light, as he can dodge Coco's Enbu enhanced mole spears, and like I said, overall, Bambina is just a fucking unit. But that's all for today, folks. Join us for more deep dives into the 8 kings and their territories, and comment on which one you want to see next. Anyway guys, wrap it up. See you later.